In a world that is robbing dudes of their dudeness, three normal, everyday, middle-aged dudes are taking a stand for dudes everywhere. Join us as we talk about life as a dude in today's world.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Dudefinity podcast, the only podcast dedicated to all things dude. My name is Sterling, and joining me as always, disappointed that he doesn't get to be part of California's billionaire tax, Jordan.
Never have I wanted to not be a billionaire before in my life. Thank you for pointing that out. I am very, very happy not to be a billionaire in California. Also, don't know if you heard, but speaking of that type of stuff, did you hear what Washington just did? The state of Washington, not D.C.?
Yeah, I've heard they've done basically the same thing.
And now the NBA, because of it, is reconsidering whether or not they want to put a franchise there because they don't think that it will be competitive because of it is not conducive to what they want to do. So found that very interesting. But anyway, happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me on my own podcast, I guess. I appreciate it. It's good to see your beautiful bald head and your wonderfully tan smile. I've missed you, buddy. Missed you. So hey, Ben.
Ben, man, just doing, working, living life, one happy moment at a time.
Life.
How about you? You've had some crazy weather.
Yeah. We've definitely we went from 87 degrees last week to on Tuesday to snow on Thursday into Friday, and a ridiculous amount of snow, like quickly. But I mean, they said if it wasn't so warm, we probably would have gotten close to 21 inches with all the rain and everything else we got surrounding the snow and what was falling, it's kind of wild. And then now we have like 50 tomorrow with 70 to 100 mile an hour winds for like several hours, and wet ground and low rooted trees. Yeah, we're batting down the hatches. School's been canceled. See what happens. Some tornado warnings and watches.
The old tomato watch.
Pretty much.
So I've been wondering about something. Yeah, that I wanted to get your opinion on. The WNBA, quietly in the background, has decided that they're going on strike. Yes. We've kind of talked about this a few times on the podcast, but it seems like it's actually going to happen. And one thing I've noticed is I haven't really seen a lot of talk about it on the sports media.
Because no one gives a flying. Literally. Like, there is no left to give, and now you've got us going into this situation where it's like, even less people care than they did before. Like, I don't know how, it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, man. It's, you know what, ruin your own league, go f yourselves, go back to doing whatever it is that you do. Maybe go back to college, and finish that degree.
How do you really feel about it?
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, man.
Yeah, it's not
literally. It makes zero sense to me. It's inequality thing, inequality thing. It's just no one gives a shit about girls basketball. I'm sorry, man. Like, no one gives a shit. And then when people finally start to give a shit, like, chill the out, Sparky.
Okay.
Strongest. All they see is Angel Reese trying to be the strongest woman or strongest person in the WNBA, and just chill the out. There's no point.
So no, I agree. I think they've kind of missed the plot a little bit. I'm all for people getting paid what they're worth, but if you're not putting asses in seats, how much are you really worth?
Well, seriously, man, like, I don't get it. Like, it just doesn't, they finally get something, a rising tide lifts all ships. We talk about this all the time. I'm not saying Caitlin Clark is Michael Jordan, but she's certainly the closest thing to the WNBA. You know what I mean?
Closest thing they've ever had.
Not trying to, right? So why wouldn't you hitch your pony to that wagon and let her bring you up? If you guys would embrace it and make it about beating her and not actually physically beating her all the time. Like, and actually, like, tried to create a level of competition that people enjoyed watching because, wow, look at Caitlin Clark. She's doing this. Well, here's Angel Reese actually balling out over here. But no, all they ever talk about is, well, Caitlin Clark hit a bunch of threes and got her ass beat by all the girls in the WNBA. And it's just, it's ridiculous. Hitch your horse to the wagon or hitch your pony to this wagon and let it bring you up, man. I'm telling you, it just.
I think the biggest issue really is that it's like they can't be okay with somebody else getting the spotlight. I think that has more to do. It's a big amount of jealousy.
But get over yourself. They're costing yourself a league and a shot at something. And guess what? Now, because you're going on strike, Brianna Stewart said, league's done.
I don't think it won't work out well for them. I think it's going to be just like baseball was back in '94.
They're going to make even less of nothing. So I don't understand, man. I really don't. I mean, what's Vince McMahon going to do? Buy the WNBA? I mean, he seems to like, you know what I mean? I mean, they want to put wrestling in it. Might as well.
Jesus. I just went all kinds of weird places there.
And now, coming to the court, 6'2", 275 pounds of pure muscle and attitude, Angel Reese.
I mean, I hope she doesn't throw punches like she shoots layups or nobody's getting hit. So along that same kind of vein, what'd you think about this Jaylen Brown ejection in that San Antonio game?
Oh, dude. All right. So one, I didn't think that there was anything for Jaylen to really complain about. To me, it looked very bang bang. It wasn't like they went, boom, yes, he got pushed, but stop. Here's the thing. It had nothing to do with that game. It had to do with the officiating all season and how Jaylen feels like he hasn't been getting the same calls. You know what I mean? He hasn't been getting the calls that he should get. Tatum's back. All of a sudden, the other night, Tatum gets laid out on the floor. No foul called. I think the team's just sick of it, man. I think they're just sick of it, and I think that it just kind of bubbled over right there. I don't think it was anything.
Yeah, I think considering the scenario,
and
considering that it wasn't the crew chief that actually ejected him, I think it probably should have gone a different way. Jaylen gets a lot of no calls. He shoves off, but apparently SGA does the same thing. If you watch Celtics games, so to say, Peyton Pritchard, they all give that little tiny forearm shove to create. And apparently that's okay.
I'll tell you this, the best version of Celtics defense I've ever seen in my life since I've been watching the Celtics was in that Thunder game the other night. It was just swarming, ball hawking, and what's interesting is guess who played more meaningful minutes that night?
Right.
Jordan Walsh.
Well, yeah.
Well, buddy, you look well, then good. Then let's stop talking about it.
So yeah, they looked really good.
Yep.
They, especially considering no Tatum in that game, lost by 1 on, honestly, if that had been a no call and it had gone to overtime,
yeah,
I think that probably would have been the better way to have let it happen that late in the game. Usually the refs don't get that involved. So
ref schmefs.
Like I say, it was certainly a foul. Like, could it have been, a play on and let the game go to overtime and make the fans a little happier? Probably. I wouldn't have complained. I'm not complaining either way. It wasn't the right call. Yeah.
Here's something kind of ironic for this
fouled,
week.
So.
No, I agree with you. But here's something kind of ironic that I just wanted to point out about basketball this week. I don't know if you realize this. Kristaps Porzingis plays every team this week that he's ever played for.
It's kind of neat.
I thought that was really interesting. He's healthy.
Plays.
No, he's saying that he thinks he's past the sickness, and then he's been playing like 25 minutes. I don't think he had POTS. I think he had like some kind of cancer or something, and they got rid of it. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, dude, think about it. POTS is a lifelong thing that would mess him up every time, and now all of a sudden he can play.
I don't think he had POTS. I think he had AIDS. It's conspiracy. It's just him and
he caught syphilis, dude. He couldn't play for. Oh man, gonna hurt for syphilis.
yeah. So I suppose we need to talk about Trump and Iran,
I got some weird
partial
opinions
government
about this.
shutdowns, and let's start with the partial government shutdown that is defunded the Department of Homeland Security. You know what the funny thing about this is to me? It's like they're like, well, defund them, then they can't do anything with ICE. They'll stop deporting people. But it's like ICE is funded until 2028. All you're doing is making people have a hard time getting on airplanes. Like,
Yeah.
why are we doing this? What are you achieving other than ruining my travel plans?
Because it literally is just to be a sticking point to pander to their base. That's literally
I don't know.
it.
Hopefully their base doesn't want to go anywhere. They'll spend 3 days in TSA trying to get on a flight from anywhere.
Yeah, my buddy just went. He's in Mexico right now, and he said it took forever to go through TSA at Richmond.
Well, I mean, I don't blame these TSA agents for being like, well, you're not paying me. I think I'm sick. Like, what? Come on.
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, it's stupid. It's just trying to pander to a base. That's all it is. There's nothing to it. I'll tell you something that I thought was really cool, and I don't know if you saw this, but so I don't know if you knew this about me, but I really don't like Gavin Newsom. I mean, Newsom. I really don't like him. Not a huge fan. Probably not going to vote for him if he runs for president, truthfully. Now, Fetterman?
You don't say. Fetterman's not running for president. They don't like him.
I know. But, so anyway, I wouldn't vote for Fetterman anyway. You know that. Not unless you ran, switch parties. But
I thought you voted on the issues, Jordan.
I do, but right now the issues that exist in this country are within the messaging of the Democratic Party. There's a lot of issues in that party, man, and they can't agree on anything.
I think there's a lot of issues in both parties, but we'll move on.
So anyway, I just don't think they have a good message. But anyway, other than we hate Trump, I think that it's pretty cool that California went super green and was like, oh, no oil, no gas. We're going to do all these things to, natural and all this other stuff, right? Well, because we're in crisis right now with oil, Trump just signed an executive order using, I forget what act it is, like some presidential power, forcing California to have to turn on all of their oil pipelines that will now produce 55 million barrels a day. And Newsom loves that. So I just think it's great that Newsom's like sitting in Sacramento going, ah! And Trump's just like,
California is kind of a lost cause. I'm not sure.
Oh, 100%. But I just think it's funny that Trump likes to play games like this where it's like, oh, you really want to piss off Gavin Newsom? Here's what we'll do.
Well, even New York, like their capital flight has been a little less than expected, but now Mamdani's trying to bring in an increase in the estate tax, and I'm just like, who is going to stick around for this stuff?
Nobody.
Like, you move to Florida, then you get the weather's nicer, people are nicer, doesn't stink, better sports teams, That's the one that got your tongue. That's
So it is kind of interesting to me though that like there's all these. So Cuba, okay, like there's a lot going on in the world right now, but Cuba. So Rubio basically said Cuba was next. Like we were gonna solve that problem next.
Wait.
No, but you know what's interesting? All of a sudden, the Cuban people are protesting in the streets and trying to overthrow their communist government. They don't want to be a part of the communist nation anymore. And because they know that America has their back, there's been this like major uprising in Cuba, which is kind of wild. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, we probably ought to finish the one we started before we do another one.
I don't think we're doing anything in Cuba other than letting them maybe stand up for themselves a little bit. But no, the Iranian thing, dude, we didn't start that. Come on, let's be real. This has been something that we've tried to pay for, we've tried to sanction for, we've tried to become allies with, we've tried everything under the sun, and all while they fund terrorists that just are disruptive in the Middle East to all those countries. And that's why everybody's sick of it, dude.
I mean, yeah, I agree that there's
I'm just saying the rest of those Middle Eastern countries aren't just joining with the United States to get rid of Iran because, the United States is the United States. They're joining with the United States because they have their own interest in getting Iran out of there.
well, yeah, they destabilize the region, and like I say, if you think about somebody who maybe is like a business owner, owns a hotel,
Yeah.
owns anything in Iran, and you're looking uh, across the Strait of Hormuz at Qatar, Saudi Arabia, any of these other countries, and you're like,
19
well,
miles across, and you see all these
they're
beautiful.
they're loaded, and
Uh-huh.
what do I have?
And
Absolutely nothing.
Iran used to be a wealthy country that was westernized before,
Well, they
but
were one of
when
the
the
few
Shah
countries,
was still there.
and I understand their uprising. I get it. They didn't want, a familial line running their government. I get that. I can understand that. I think they
That's
went
what you got
in
with
the wrong
Khomeini.
direction. But I was just going to say, but they're getting the same thing. Although, I don't know as though there's really been much in the way of a proof of life from him, but
I don't think, I heard he might be non-existent.
yeah, it, it's, I just can't imagine living there and then seeing what's going on in other places, like literally a stone's throw away with the same resources, the same, uh, kind of the same geography for the most part, and going, well, why am I broke? Why is the real worth literally nothing?
Yep.
And across the small spot of water, they're lining their pockets because they're loaded, because tourists want to come here and people want to visit, and they're just making money hand over fist, and they don't have a pot to piss in. I don't, it. I really do hope that from this comes a situation where the Iranian people can be safe, rich, happy. I'm
Yeah,
rooting
I
for them.
hope it
I really am.
stabilizes the Middle East for real.
Um,
I think it would go a long way to. I mean, people are tired of dying, man, and people are tired of being broke. People want more than what they have. You know what I mean? And I think it's fair to give them opportunity to do that. One thing that was very interesting to me this week was that those mine boats. I was kind of like reading a lot about those mine boats and just like how they're beating us. They're not beating us. Iran is not beating us, but how they're hitting at us with low tech, dude. It's like what?
mhm.
You know what I mean? Extremely low tech stuff. And I'm like,
I mean,
between those
yeah.
like
Well,
those drone swarms and the mine boats that are basically RC boats, pretty much. Like, okay,
and what do you expect them to do? I don't expect them to do anything different than that. That's all they can do. I saw a video a couple of days ago that I've been kind of wanting to talk about, and it's in kind of the same vein, but it's a an individual stating that they are a
hey. Before you move on completely, I want to say something about Iran real quick. Just real quick,
have at it.
please. Okay. So one of my neighbors is a Marine, or was a Marine, once a Marine, always a Marine, I guess. And one of his buddies that he was deployed with before is in 31st Infantry. Guess who's on their way to Iran?
Yes, I've heard that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I have heard that.
Dude, we're sending in special forces. We're sending in our door kickers.
Yeah, I mean, I I I got mixed
We're
feelings
not
about
the
it,
only
but
country doing it. Jordan's sending their people in. Oman is. What's Bahrain is sending some people in. Israel, of course, is sending a bunch of people in. And I think it's more so just because Trump and them have been telling everybody, stay inside until we tell you to come out. We're going to protect you. Just stay inside. And I think a lot of people are staying inside. Although I did hear that the Iranians are using a bunch of disinformation and posting it all over social media and different places. And they came up with this. They basically drug a bunch of people out of their houses and threatened to kill them if they didn't say like hold signs that said "Death to America" and like cheering the new Ayatollah. I'm like, dude, that's
Yeah.
so messed up. Anyway, all right, moving on. Your video.
Yeah, yeah. So it's along the same vein, and it's this individual who says that they are a Muslim woman, and they're a Muslim woman, and they're complaining. Now the biological sex is male. They've decided that they're a Muslim woman, and they went to a mosque, uh, and they were told, well, yeah, no, you need to go down this hallway, and because I don't know if you know this, but mosques are segregated by sex, so you need to go on that side with the men if you wanna be here. And so then they go to that side, and then somebody's like, "Where's your hijab?" It made me chuckle so bad because I'm like, this whole like trans gay for Palestine, trans gay for Iran. You know that these people, what your lifestyle is illegal, and their best suggestion is to toss you off the top of a building.
Well, last
But
time I checked, ISIS was
I don't.
beheading the people that existed
They
even remotely like them when they were going through.
Yeah, no, they just
Until none
they
other than Donald Trump dropped a Moab on the side of a mountain and, you know, kind of put an end to that.
like I said, it's just you have to really not be paying attention. I don't understand. Again, I don't know if it's for clout. I don't know if it's just for something to do, but they can't actually believe that these people will change or are wanted or want them there or would defend them if push came to shove. It's just it's a really odd mindset.
Well, but along those same lines, it's like the videos I've seen of like the Hispanic guys that are being interviewed on TikTok where they're like, white women, middle-aged white women, suburban white women, go home, Karen. We're not coming to save you, so why are you talking about us? We don't need your help. Stop assuming that everybody think and stop assuming that you could think for everybody else. Dude, I've been dying
Well,
with that.
yeah, no, and it's true. Like the most social justicey people tend to be like you know suburban white women. I don't know why. They just stay like I think it's the puppy complex. You know what I mean? Like these kinds of people they have to have
They're all just
they go and get
chihuahuas and
themselves
white women are like trying to save them.
they go to the pound, they get themselves a rescue dog. They're like, yeah, he's not so bad. Fluffy only bit the mailman 3 times. It's fine. I can change him.
Oh my god, dude.
Uh,
I love my mom, but I think she married a husband thinking or two that she could change him. You didn't hear that, did you? No comment?
no comment.
It's the best place for you to be because I probably shouldn't have said what I said either. Oh my god, dude. Love you, mom. If you're listening, my bad. See no changes. All I see is anyway. Dude. So one thing that's interesting about this whole like Trump thing, I just want to, you know me, I tend to be a conspiracy theorist. You tend to always lean on Occam's razor, okay?
Mhm.
So I'm gonna like literally that's all you ever lean on because God forbid the most plausible answer is the God forbid
It's
something
usually the right
nefarious.
one.
God forbid something nefarious was happen. So you probably in that spirit of it being the right one, you really think that Epstein was eating pizza at his pizza
Listen,
parties? I'm just saying. Anyway,
I will admit that there are conspiracies. Sometimes they're real, but
okay. So I'm not saying this is a conspiracy, but I just I want to pinpoint. Just follow my timeline here for a second, okay?
following. I'm on it.
So
Locked in.
Trump goes in. He starts sanctioning these boats, right? And these dark oil tankers that they call them, and he starts taking them out. He starts taking out drug cartels, opening up the shipping lanes for himself, negotiates, the Panama Canal coming back to the US kind of thing. Like you've seen that where we're getting like Panama agreed to let us use the canal and all that. You then see him go in, take Maduro off the table, okay, which Democrats wanted for years, okay. So we go in, we take Maduro off the table. Then all of a sudden, what's her name? The new president and Trump are buddies, and the new Venezuelan president, Delcy,
Yep.
and they're buddy, and British Petroleum and Exxon and all those places that had refineries there, all of a sudden are going back in and turning them on,
Mm-hmm.
and then for several weeks they're ramping up military bases and ramping up supplies to the Middle East and everything else, knowing that this was probably coming. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
then we go into Iran, shut down the Strait of Hormuz, and all of a sudden, the United States has Russia trying to buy oil from us and negotiate oil with us. China's
Mm-hmm.
trying to buy oil from us and negotiate oil with us. All of a sudden, you're seeing a situation where, one, I think it gives Trump leverage over the Ukrainian situation. I do.
Okay.
Two, I also think that maybe Trump doesn't care that the Strait of Hormuz is closed right now because we're selling a boatload of oil, dude. And he even said it. He goes, actually, oil prices going up is good for us because we're selling a lot of it right now. I'm just
It's not
saying.
good for my gas tank.
Might not be, but short-term gain to make up to control the world's oil routes.
Oh God.
I'm just saying, man.
I listen.
And if you take Iran out of the middle of the crink, the rest of it crumbles.
To be honest with you, I think. Listen, I like a lot of the Trump's policies. Like,
Well, I'm not saying
gonna
I
say
like
every
this one.
time
I'm
I
just
don't.
thinking that that's what he did.
I don't think that this dude is playing 4D chess like some people do. I just don't. I think he's very problem focused. He focuses on one thing. I don't think he's like in a strategy session. He's got the chessboard out and he's mapping out a 14-point plan of how to control the world's oil reserves. Like, I
Well,
don't think
just look at how
he's
it
that
just
kind of
kind
a guy.
of coincidentally just fell into our.
Or it could just be kind of a coincidence. No, it's just
No.
absolutely not.
They
There's no
knew,
way.
they knew 100% going into this that the U.S. was going to do it. Dude, what has Trump been doing for the last 6 months? Everything he's done has been to take China to get him out of our hemisphere. Yes or no?
Not everything he's done, but a lot
A
of it.
lot of it.
But again, that he's aiming at one thing. I don't think that he's like. Listen, is it possible? Sure. Is he like? Is he just a complete and utter genius, like a Machiavellian type of person who's deeply thinking and planning on all
I
of the
think they
scenarios?
saw an
I just
opportunity
don't.
and they took it. I think they saw an opportunity as a byproduct of maybe being focused on something else and they took it.
I mean, maybe it's possible. It's an interesting theory.
Trump's motivated by one thing and one thing only, my friend.
Legacy.
No.
Then what?
Money.
Nah, I don't
Lots
think
of
so.
money. The world's run on money
mean,
for Donald Trump, man.
I don't know. I think he's definitely like the whole peacemaker thing. I think has been a legacy thing. He's like I'm the only president who could do this. He says like that all the time. The Golden Fleet, the Golden Fleet. It's gonna be, which mind you, is never gonna be built. They're never gonna build those boats. It's never gonna happen. There's zero chance. This USS Donald Trump. It's in gold.
He's trying. He's trying.
Like there's a reason we don't have battleships. He's like, we used to be big, beautiful battleships, greatest battleships in the world. There's a fucking reason they don't make battleships anymore. Technology's moved. They don't need them.
No, we
I
really
don't know,
don't.
man. Like I
We just
say,
need aircraft carriers. Like, honestly, if we just had a bunch of aircraft carriers and subs, we'd be fine.
No, you need guided missile cruisers, you need destroyers, you need all of those boats carrying like the SM-6, SM-3 that are connected to the Aegis combat system to for defense of that aircraft carrier. There's a reason they're in strike groups, but
Tell you something I've thought really interesting. That they're like that the leftist news has said 6 troops have died in combat in Iraq on a refueling mission. There was no one shooting at them. They were literally refueling planes and the plane went down. Like, I'm not belittling it. They died in a combat zone, but they did not die from combat.
Yeah, they do a lot of like the way
Spin.
so there was one that I
It's like,
was
oh, they died from COVID. No, they died from the heart attack that they had and happened to have COVID.
well, what I will say is that COVID can cause, like, it's like anything else. If I have somebody who
It's an
has
infection
like
that'll f you up.
well, if I have somebody who has COPD, so their ability to breathe is already compromised, and then they get the flu, and they die because they can't get over the flu, I don't say they died from COPD. I say they died from the flu. It's not any different than at least in those terms is not any different than what standard procedure is in a hospital. But what I will say is I lost my train of thought. I had a good one. It was lined up. Oh, so on that same note, I saw a CNN so this is what they said. They said that Iranian ballistic missiles, oh no, Iranian aircraft came within 2 minutes of a U.S. Army base. Came within 2 minutes of attacking a U.S. Army base. The base, I believe, was in either Qatar or
They say it was
uh,
probably Cater because I think I heard something about that.
well, yeah, but the thing is, a jet flying at 400, 500 miles an hour, they 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 go about 40 miles a minute. And so 2 minutes out is like 80 to 100 miles.
Yeah.
It's just like, why are you saying that they got shot down? So it's like, yes, you're not wrong, but the way you're spinning it makes it sound like
Well,
they
there's
were way
always
closer
spin,
than they
man.
really were.
And all news networks are guilty of that and spinning it how it is. But I'm like, come on, man. Don't, like, and by the way, loss of life is terrible. Feel horrible
Absolutely.
that we lost those troops, but they could have been on a refueling mission here in the US and that plane went down. You never know. It wasn't like they were
Yeah,
shot down
it's
or
and then you figure, combat operations like that are incredibly complex.
yeah.
There's a huge mental toll. These people are working their asses off, uh, long hours, all out,
Overworked, overtired, and underslept.
underpaid. Oh man, I feel for them. They're doing just a fantastic job. And you figure how many refueling tankers, how many missions are they doing?
Yeah.
They're doing fantastic work, and it makes it seem like they're the way that it gets spun, sometimes it seems they try and make it seem like they're not.
Almost like they're
If you
incompetent and they're not at all. Like,
if you're gonna,
and a lot of these refueling planes are old. They're old.
well, some of them, you got the Pegasus, and then you've got the
Yeah.
KC-135 Stratotanker, and
Yeah.
those two are, the Stratotanker is much older,
Yeah.
but like these are the best in the world at what they do. They other countries train here so to learn how to do this because we have the best in the world at it.
I gotta tell you
Um,
right now, I wouldn't want to do that job. Wouldn't even care to do it at all. Wouldn't even want to be
okay,
on the plane that's doing it. Nope.
I guess.
No desire.
I mean, listen, it's not weapons don't,
It's
you
literally a
need
lot
weapons
riding on
for
it, dude.
well, you need weapons for war, you need soldiers for
Yeah.
war, but what wins wars, it's not the weapons necessarily, it's not the soldiers, the supply lines.
Yeah.
It's that stuff. It's what our mutual friend does. Like that those are the unsung heroes
That mutual
of a
friend has
war.
been super busy for about a
Yeah,
month and a half
but
preparing
people
for
don't
this.
understand that the greatest strength of the US military is supply and logistics. Like
His logistical like footprint right now and what he's doing is insane. I was listening to him talk about, I mean, he can't tell me everything, but I mean, he's in meetings with generals and everything right now because they have to make sure it's right because that base sends everything into the Middle East, really. It all runs
yeah,
through there. Goes
You
from
look
there to
at
Kyrgyzstan and down.
you look at just look at the Ukraine war, Russia, Ukraine. Russia gets bogged down in like a week because they don't have supply capacity. The
Yeah.
logistics isn't there. They haven't planned ahead on how they're going to refuel their mechanized infantry, how they're going to feed their troops. You know that, and on the other side, you've got the majority of the U.S. military's money goes to logistics.
Yeah.
You can't fight a war if you can't feed and supply your soldiers.
Well,
So,
dude,
like
our
I say, you know,
ability, but also our ability to go into a combat zone and stand up a temporary base with like defenses and everything else too within like 3 days is pretty wild, like what they practice for.
well, and like I say, it's the logistics. It's always logistics to me has been is the unsung hero. You know, if you know, you know, but these aren't the guys that are getting the news articles written about them, but they really are the unsung heroes of the U.S. military because they're the ones
There's a
making
lot to be
sure
moved and they move it all.
and keep track of it and
Uh-huh.
know when it's the timelines. It's really for the size of the military and the scope of what's being done.
Yeah.
It's incredibly impressive.
Um, where he's doing it right now is just absolutely huge too. Like there's just so much of it in the warehouse right now. But what was I gonna say? So yeah, I was talking to him the other day and he was telling me just, kind of the stressors and how little he's been home and stuff like that. Because of all this right now and being in charge of like 230 people all doing exactly what we're talking about, keeping track of things and moving them. He was telling me though, him and I talk a lot, and I'm always like, man, when you get out, you're gonna make so much money on the street. Like, and he's like, no, I
He's
won't make
cute,
any
but he's
money.
not that good looking. You think he's gonna make that kind of money on the street?
No, but I mean, like, I really think that he'll like. I was telling him, I was like, dude, I think you in the Mid Atlantic, you could probably pull like easy like quarter mil a year. Just getting out because of he's got the
He has a
masters.
unique skill set.
Well,
He
and
has a
that,
very
you know what
unique
I
skill
mean?
set.
Like, all of a sudden, one of these, like, shipping, like, supply places around here, like, these big headquarter places in the Mid-Atlantic, you get a job there all day long.
Uh,
Anyway.
I've also seen some stuff about the U.S. I've seen a lot of question as to how much weaponry we have left, and how much we've used, and when it will be replaced, and you know, it's really interesting to see that they because we use a bunch of precision guided weapons, Tomahawk cruise missiles, and we're using uh
A lot of why they're saying it, though, if you read into it a little further, a lot of what I've come across is, well, because of all the weapons we've been giving Ukraine, and I'm like, yeah, we've given them all our old
well, yeah, it's all stuff that you would have had to have disposed of anyways. Uh, but Lockheed Martin, who makes all the interceptors for the Patriot, Raytheon, and then Anduril, which is, if you don't know about Anduril, they're just a fantastic company. I think they're super cool. They billionaire tech guy starts a
Yeah.
weapons company that all the weapons can be basically built with hand tools, which I think is it's just super cool. But all of these companies are standing up increased production. That a lot of these precision guided weapons that we use in the beginning of this fight are expensive. They're
Yeah.
expensive,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
slow to build, and and now we've switched to uh JDAMs, which are guided dumb bombs. I think they're laser guided, GPS guided, and then also have inertial navigation. I could be wrong about the combination of those three, but and these are just 500 to 2,000 pound bombs, but
Yeah.
basically we have an almost near on infinite supply of these things, and they just retrofit them with the equipment for them to be laser guided or GPS guided, and they just they're not going to run out, and they're accurate as and because we have complete control of the skies over Iran, you can fly whatever you want with impunity and not worry about having to deal with, not that we really had to worry about dealing with Russian or Chinese surface to air missiles because they suck. Like, if you listen, like, there's been a bunch of countries who have canceled orders for Russian and Chinese made stuff because they're like, wait a minute, wait, it really did come from Temu. What? This just doesn't work.
Was this really made in a sweatshop full of kids?
But again, these are still dangerous things, and they do work.
They do.
But when you've got the kind of skill, talent, and know-how that the U.S. military and the Israeli military have, you're able to defeat those things really easily. So, did you hear that the Ukrainians have hired a bunch of former U.S. Air Force and I think Swedish, Finn? They're either Finn. Where the hell were they? Were they the Netherlands? The Netherlands. So they're from the U.S. and the Netherlands to actually fly their F-16s in combat. Good, smart move. You don't need to train them. They can just hop in there.
But that'll get us messed up with Russia pretty quick.
These guys are all out. They're all retired. They've all left the military. It's like the Flying Tigers in China before World War II.
I mean, I hear you, but I'm sure Putin's gonna use it against us at some level.
Whatever. That guy.
He went into that bunker, came out a fucking balloon, dude. He was already crazy, but he spent 2.5 years underground and then just...
I don't think Putin is crazy. I think Putin has... One, he's a smart... He's an intelligent, ruthless individual who really, truly believes that the worst thing that happened to the global landscape was the fall of the Soviet Union, and he genuinely wants to reestablish it. That's what I
think. You
don't? I don't think he's... Duh.
Oh, man. No, they just tell you by way of descent, they're like, and this is gonna sound bad, but that whole Eastern Bloc, by just like pure lineage, going way back, you could trace them back to barbarians, man. Like and there's just like an ingrained like barbarian Viking kind of like mentality with a lot of these guys that is just always conquer land, like for some reason,
Well, so I don't necessarily think it comes from their lineage. I think it comes from the realities of geography. So they're, all of Central Europe. Are you okay? Are you okay, bro?
It's that cough still, dude, from like the last couple of weeks. It's just, ugh. I feel like I'm getting ready to cough a bunch of blood.
So it comes from geography. All of Central Europe is just one big open plain. And so there's no natural land barriers.
But I'm just saying, man, like, if you look, like, people throughout time just do what they do. Like, the Israelis and the Muslims, they fight all the time, right? Like, I mean, that goes way back to the beginning of time. I'm just saying that, like, there's just certain things that are ingrained in people. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just...
I hear what
like Canadians are nice. They don't go trying to fight everybody.
I don't know if that's... If there is a war crime, it's a war crime because somebody from Canada did it first. That's not true. They're not nice.
Easiest country in the world to take over is Canada.
You say this. I don't know if that's actually true. These were throwing... We're tossing cans of food into the German trenches in World War I. And once they got them on side, they're like, oh, we're going to toss some more food over to you. Nope. Oh, you like that? Then they toss in hand grenades right where they toss the food in.
Listen, it's because
for Canada, it's Geneva's suggestions.
They're just French.
That different story.
I know, but Macron needs to off. I don't like that guy. I don't like it.
He's starting to turn around a little bit.
I don't know. What I like is Giorgia Meloni or whatever her name is, the Italian prime minister.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the dude from Poland is wild.
Poland, little European Texas.
Dude, wild. Like they might be my favorite. I would love to live in like Warsaw for like a year. Just check it out.
They don't.
No, I know.
If when you look at the two countries that I think are the
Good
most
thing to have on our
similar
side.
in
Yeah.
mindset
Yeah.
is Poland and Israel. They're just both like, never again. We're
No,
going to
we're
be
never doing
armed to the
this.
teeth.
Yep.
And if you're going to try and invade or kill us, we are going to beat your ass. I love them. I love
And then
like
and then the Aussies are like kind of wild now too. Like they're like, I will send everybody. Like no big deal. We'll help.
Aussie again. Like there's some countries that are just filled with tough sons of bitches, and those are a few of them.
I mean, dude, you got to be tough growing up in Australia. You got to fight kangaroos that will try to box you. You got to deal with poisonous snakes and crocodiles and
Don't forget the spiders.
and the huntsman spiders and all the crazy shit they have that like, yeah, no, dude, they're like huge. Take a shit and look up on the ceiling and there's a fucking spider that's trying to eat you. Um, you know, then you got to deal with stingrays, to the heart. I mean, that's just kind of crazy. Crikey, it's a crocodile.
I miss you, Steve.
Steve Irwin here.
Stop doing that.
Steve Irwin here.
I like Australians. Don't do that. They're probably shaking their head at how bad that accent is.
I'm from the southern side of Australia, and they just don't know.
Southern side of Australia. But yeah, it's the world is a bit topsy turvy right now. There's a lot going on, and it's fascinating. We live in interesting times, as it were.
The world is full of something right now, everywhere you turn. And maybe Donald Trump's the leader behind it. Maybe that's the change, is that there's somebody that's kind of leading from the front with this. But man, the entire world, if you look around right now, it's just FAFO, bro. It's just FAFO. Like everywhere you go is just around and find out. Like everything you see right now is, you know what? Accountability has come home.
It's not a bad thing.
Maybe there's hope for the world. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if endless wars and stuff like that. I don't know if this will be one of those situations. I don't know what it's going to be. But what I will tell you right now is that I feel like we're on the right side of it, we being the US, because the rest of the Middle East seems to be right there with us.
Well, like I said, like I'm not a I think that one of the best things that you can do with the military is fight a war of morality. We haven't done that since World War II.
Yeah.
The reality is that these people called from the streets and asked for help, and although a little bit on the late side, of no fault of anybody's, because we weren't prepared to do it, we've gone in there and busted some heads. And like I say, you can't force freedom on anybody. You can't force democracy on people. You see what happened in Iraq, what a
You give them
boondoggle
a
that
chance
was.
and you move off.
But I was just gonna say, but you need to, I think it is morally the correct move to try and give them the opportunity to see if self-governance is something that they want to be a part of. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that democracy is perfect. It isn't. We don't even live, we don't technically really live in a true democracy in the first place. We live, where it's an representative republic.
It's an authoritarian.
Oh, stop it. I look forward to seeing what the Iranian people can do.
Yeah, I hope they stand up and take their moment, man. I mean, it seems like they've had a plan for a while, and there's an opposition to the regime, and I think those will be the people that get into play. But so we'll see what they can do. One thing that I'm going to make a prediction on is once our focus with Iran is less, on them right now. Once that changes, I have a feeling that we're going to deal with a neighbor close to us in a way that is not going to be good, but it's going to be necessary. I have a feeling that Gloria Steinbaum is playing too nice with the cartels, and I would not be surprised if Trump shuts down tourism to Mexico from the U.S. and then says, if you do not take out these cartels, I think he's going to use leverage and start paying for the border on your side instead of ours and handling it on your side, because that's where it's coming from. I do, man. I really think he's going to Because think about how he's going after all these drug boats and all these cartels and all these shipments and everything else. And the one country in all of Central and South America that says, oh, no, we're not going to let you come in and do anything about the cartels is Mexico.
Well, okay.
My prediction is
Difference
we
of
will
a
deal. My prediction is we will deal with Mexico. I don't think it'll be a militarized situation, but I do think it'll be a, hey, guess what? We're not going to allow our people to come to your country for tourism and it'll absolutely flatline them, dude. It'll absolutely flatline them and force them to have to. Because
this is one of
they
our
have to do something, dude.
So one of our largest trading partners, I think that's it's probably a step
What are
too
we
far,
trading with
but
them right now? Avocados and tequila?
a lot more than that.
I hear you.
You completely cripple the U.S. automotive industry for one, like completely cripple it. Like
you also tell her you're not going to do it because you're also going to cripple their economy. Guess whose economy is a little bit bigger and more.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You got to play chicken, dude. You got to play chicken.
I don't know, man. We'll see. Maybe you're right. I just think that there's.
You think we're going to let her get away with not shutting down those cartels?
I think it requires a much more deft hand than what you're making it out to be. I think your economies are so intertwined at this point that you have to do it in a very strategic and surgical manner. But
yeah, come be our 51st state.
We'll solve the immigration issue. You can just be Americans.
All right.
Okay.
Here's our 4-step plan on immigration. You ready?
Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
We'll naturalize all of Mexico as our 51st state.
Uh-huh.
We will allow any part of Canada that wants to become our 52nd state.
Okay.
We will be completely surrounded by water at that point, for the most part, except for Central America. But we'll put a wall on Central America, which is a lot easier to do than the United States border.
Uh-huh.
And then fourth,
resident American.
Yeah, fourth, you ready for this? Yeah. Lastly, anybody who came here illegally is moving to Saskatchewan.
Oh,
you're packing them up and moving them to Canada.
Oh, okay.
Dropping them off and giving them a hatchet and telling them to figure it out.
Well, on that note, why don't you take us out?
Well, let me ask you this. If Canada and Mexico joined the U.S., would we all just be Americans at that point?
I guess. If they wanted to join the U.S., I feel like this is... Oh... Although you might get Alberta. You could probably...
I'm just saying.
You might be able to get Alberta.
I wish Canada would negotiate with us. I would gladly, if we could just play chess, I'd take Alberta, and they could take California and New York.
No.
Yeah.
No. That's utter foolishness. California has a larger economy than.
Did you hear what Nevada wanted
Japan?
to do? They want to build a wall. They want to build a border wall between them and Canada, or between them and California.
Sure.
I say we just build a wall around California.
Sense.
Make them their own little country. Keep them there.
Yeah. No, the California's economy is huge. So is New York.
Yeah, California's also the biggest drain on the U.S. government.
They put in more than they take out, buddy. Listen, I'm not saying California is run well or they're doing things right.
You're darn right. I put in more than I take out, buddy.
Where does it go? What did the leper say? That sounds like a gong. Why? What did the leper say to the prostitute?
Keep the tip. And here's a tip for you. Stay a dude.
I'm the king of my driveway, mowing lines so straight. Got a toolbox full of glory, and a mortgage by the plate. I'm a modern man with an old school